Hello everyone, welcome to ESLDRILL. If you are a first time visitor, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you very much. Let's discuss the author first. Srimati P. Satyavati is one of those writers who have brought feminism to the peak in Telugu literature. Though she is a retired English lecturer, she has great understanding of the Telugu accent and the idiom of the respective regions. She is adept in portraying human experience universally. The technique of appealing to the readers by weaving the story wonderfully with a philosophical touch and theological aspect is her forte. She has published 4 anthologies of short stories, 5 novels, and a collection of essays. She has won a number of prestigious awards. This story, What Is My Name, is originally published as Illalakagane Pandagauna in Telugu in 1990 and has been translated into almost all the South Indian languages and Hindi. Let's look at the vocabulary here. First thing is feminism. That is what the story is all about. It's about the concept feminism. Now look at this word feminism. It means the belief and aim that women should have the same rights and opportunities as men, or the struggle to achieve this aim is also called feminism. Now, Srimati P. Satyavati is one of the writers who have brought feminism to the peak in Telugu. To the peak means here to its highest point, or to its strongest point in Telugu literature. Literature is all the books or pieces of writing found in a particular language or written in a particular language. Here Telugu literature means here all the books and everything that is written in Telugu language. Though she is a retired English lecturer, she has great command over Telugu accent. The way how to give proper emphasis to language. She knows that, and she knows the idiom of the respective regions as well. Let's look at what it means. Here idiom has a different meaning. Idiom is the kind of language or grammar used by particular people at a particular time or place. If you take a look at Telugu, for example, so even within these two states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, we have different accents, or let us say different idiom. People use different kind of expressions. So that is what we call idiom, and she has good knowledge of the idiom of the respective regions. And look at the next one here. She is adept in portraying human experience. She is adept in something. What is adept? Adept means skillful or good at. She is good at, she is skillful in portraying human experience. Portraying means showing or expressing human experience universally. Now, the technique of appealing to the readers by weaving the story. Here, weaving means creating the story wonderfully with a philosophical touch in terms of understanding the law, the nature, the God, in terms of those things. Philosophical touch and theological aspect. So, theology or theological, let's look at theological. Connected with the study of religion and beliefs. So, she connects her story elements to religion and beliefs and customs and traditions as well, and this is her forte. This is forte. What is forte? Let's look at that. Forte is a thing that somebody does particularly well. The simple meaning is ability. So doing this is her ability. Giving a philosophical touch and theological aspect to her stories or to her writings is her forte, is her ability. She has published 4 anthologies of short stories, 5 novels, and a collection of essays. So what is anthology? Anthology is a collection of poems, stories, etc. That's why we have it here. Short stories, novels, and a collection of essays. Put them together, anthology. She has won a number of prestigious awards. What is the meaning of prestigious? Respected and admired as very important. Now, she won many awards which are considered very important. Awards which are important. The story, What Is My Name, is originally published as Illalakagane Pandagauna in Telugu in 1990, and it has been translated into almost all the South Indian languages and Hindi. Okay, now let's get into the lesson. Have you noticed how your father calls your mother? Does he use her name or not? How do the neighbors address her? Does anyone address her by name? What about your grandmother? In this story, P. Satyavati describes how a woman forgets her own name since no one addresses her by name. How does a woman gain her identity? By name, by marriage, by motherhood, by education, by profession, or by anything else? Read the story keeping these questions in mind. Now, we have this word here, address. It's a verb here. How do the neighbors address? Do plus V1. Let's look at the meaning here. Address means to use a particular name or title for somebody when you speak or write to them. When you write a letter or when you speak to them directly, if you address that person, you use that person's name or maybe the title given to them on specific occasions. And look at this word here, gain. Gain means to get or to achieve or to obtain. The question here is, how does a woman gain her identity? How does a woman get her identity? How does a woman achieve or obtain her identity? Let's also look at this word, identity. Identity means who somebody is or what something is. That's nothing but recognition. If you are recognized by somebody, they know who you are. Or if something is recognized by somebody, they know what it is. So, how does a woman gain her identity? The writer has given us some options here. By name, do you think a woman gets or gains her identity by getting married to someone? Or by becoming a mother? We'll discuss this word. Or by education, by profession, or by anything else? Read the story keeping these questions in mind. Now let's look at two more words here. Motherhood profession. Motherhood is the state of being a mother. Now when a woman becomes a mother, she enjoys motherhood. Okay, profession is a job that needs a high level of education and training. For example, teaching is a profession because it needs certain skill and high level of education. Okay, we have a few more lines here. A young wife before being a housewife, a woman educated and cultured and intelligent and capable, quick-witted, with a sense of humor and elegance. Now, look at these words here. A woman before being a housewife. It means before getting married. Educated and cultured and intelligent and capable. Now, if a person is capable of doing something, he or she can do something. Quick-witted. Now, has the ability to create wit. To create funny remarks, to create fun in some situations, and with a sense of humor and elegance. Sometimes we need to face certain criticism. Even then, you can actually make the other people laugh by our witty remarks, by our funny remarks. So that ability of creating some fun is called humor. And elegance is beauty. Now all these words describe this young woman. Now let's proceed. Falling for her beauty and intelligence, as also the dowry which her father offered, a young man tied the 3 sacred knots around her neck, made her the housewife to a household, and said to her, "Look, Amadu, this is your home." Then the housewife immediately pulled the end of her sari and tucked it in at the waist and swabbed the entire house and decorated the floor with Mugulu designs. The young man promptly praised her work. "You are dexterous at swabbing the floor, even more dexterous in drawing the Mugulu. Sabash, keep it up." He said it in English, giving her a pat on the shoulder in appreciation. Okay, falling for her beauty and intelligence. It means getting attracted to her beauty and intelligence, and also the dowry which the woman's father offered. It means 3 things attracted this young man here: the woman's beauty, her intelligence, and the dowry that her father offered. So what is dowry? Most of you know it very well. Property and money that a woman gives to her husband when they marry. it happens in some societies, but most of the cases you see that dowrying. So the bridegroom takes this dowry from bride's family. Let's look at the next phrase here, sacred knots. Sacred means holy. We usually hear of 3 knots being tied around the bride's neck. So sacred knots around her neck. It means here the woman became the young man's wife, and then the young man said, "Look, Amadu, this is your home." And the woman felt appreciated, felt praised, and that's why she immediately pulled the end of her sari and tucked it in. So what is the meaning of tuck something in? Look at this here. If you tuck something in, you move it inside. Like if a man tucks his shirt in, he moves the shirt inside of his trousers. So that's what you call tucked in shirt. Or maybe you can say that man has tucked his shirt in. Okay, in the same way, this woman pulled the end of her sari, took the end of her sari, and then put it inside, moved it inside, okay, inside the sari, at the waist, and swabbed the entire house. Let's look at the word swab and its meaning. It means to clean or wash a floor, surface, etc. Here, the woman swabbed the entire house, means cleaned and washed the floor and decorated the floor with Mughal designs. The young man promptly praised her work. Promptly here means immediately and without any delay. Immediately he praised her work and he said, "You are dexterous at swabbing the floor." Let's look at the meaning of the word dexterous. If a person is dexterous, that person is skillful and quick when using hands. So it means here people who are dexterous are good at using their hands. They are skillful at using their hands very well. So here dexterous, she was dexterous at swabbing the floor. We have already learned the meaning, cleaning and washing the floor. Even more dexterous in drawing the muglu. Sabash, keep it up, he said. So sabash is the word used to appreciate someone's skill. Sabash, keep it up. He said it in English, giving her a pat on the shoulder. Let's look at the word pat and its meaning. Pat is a noun here. It means a friendly act of touching someone with your hand flat. With a flat hand, you touch someone and then you appreciate that person. That is pat. Let's move on. Overjoyed, the housewife began living with swabbing as the chief mission in her life. She scrubbed the house spotlessly clean at all times and beautifully decorated it with multicolored designs. That's how her life went on, with a sumptuous and ceaseless supply of swabbing cloths and mugu baskets. But one day, while scrubbing the floor, the housewife suddenly asked herself, "What is my name?" The query shook her up. Leaving the mopping cloth and the mugu basket there itself, she stood near the window, scratching her head, lost in thoughts. What is my name? What is my name? Let's look at the first word, overjoyed. It means happy, very happy. So the housewife began living with swabbing as the chief mission. What is chief mission? If something is your chief mission in life, that is the main aim in your life, that is the main purpose of your life. Here the housewife has made swabbing, cleaning the floor, the main purpose of her life. It means chief mission of her life. She scrubbed the house spotlessly clean at all times and beautifully decorated it with multicolored designs. So she scrubbed the house. Scrub means again clean something by rubbing it hard, especially with a brush and usually with soap and water. So that is what we call scrubbing. We have something called scrubber in our kitchens. Okay, she scrubbed the house spotlessly clean. So spotlessly means here without leaving any spot, without leaving any dirt. At all times with multicolored designs. It means here multi refers to more than one. Many colorful designs. That's how her life went on with a sumptuous and ceaseless supply. What is sumptuous and ceaseless supply? Let's look at sumptuous and ceaseless. Sumptuous means here very impressive. So a great amount here. she had great supply of swabbing cloths, and that too ceaseless supply. Ceaseless means never ending. Look at this, endless. So she has very impressive and endless supply of swabbing cloth, cleaning cloths and mugu baskets. But one day she got a doubt. She asked herself, "What is my name?" And this query or this question shook her up. So let's look at the meaning here. Shake up means here to change. This question changed her mindset, changed her thinking. And shook her up means here this question affected her. And leaving the mopping cloth, let's look at this here. Mopping cloth is a cloth used for cleaning the floor. So she actually was cleaning the floor with the mopping cloth, and she left that mopping cloth there and the mugu basket there itself, and she stood at the window and she was lost in thoughts. It means here she was occupied with thoughts, and actually single thought. The thought was, what was her name? And she questioned herself, what is my name? Let's see what happened then. The house across the road carried a name board. Mrs. M. Suhasini, MA, PhD, Principal, X College. Yes, she too had a name as her neighbor did. How could I forget like that? In my scrubbing zeal, I have forgotten my name. What shall I do now? The housewife was perturbed. Her mind became totally restless. Somehow, she finished her daubing for the day. Meanwhile, the maidservant arrived. Hoping at least she would remember, the housewife asked her, "Look, Ammai, do you know my name?" "What is it, Amma?" said the girl. "What do we have to do with the names of mistresses? You are only a mistress to us, the mistress of such and such a white-storied house. Ground floor means you." Okay, the woman was standing at the window thinking about her name. The house across the road carried a name board. It means here she saw a name board of somebody across the road. What is the meaning of across here? On the other side. So there was a house on the other side of the house, and at the on the outside of the house there was this name board with the name Mrs. M. Suhasini, MA, PhD, Principal, some college. Now she realized that she had forgotten her name in her scrubbing zeal. We have already learned scrubbing is nothing but cleaning. So in her scrubbing zeal, what is zeal? Zeal is great enthusiasm, great interest. So in her great interest to clean the house spotlessly, she forgot her name. What shall I do now? The housewife was perturbed. Perturbed means worried or anxious, and she became totally restless. See here, when a person becomes restless, he or she is disturbed. Now she is disturbed, worried and disturbed. Somehow she finished her daubing for the day. So what is daubing? Spreading a substance such as paint, mud, etc. onto something. It's not happening in towns and cities now, but in villages even today it happens, and people spread dung on the floor. So that's it. And then look at this here. Meanwhile, the maidservant arrived. Maidservant is a female servant in a house, you know it. And she thought that this maidservant would know her name, so she asked, "Look, Ammai, do you know my name?" But unfortunately, she could not get her name from the maidservant, because the maidservant said that she did not have to worry about the names of mistresses. So what is the meaning of mistress? The female employer of a servant. So if there is a husband and wife and there is a maidservant, and a female employer is called mistress. The man's wife is the mistress of the house. Okay, you are only a mistress to us. And she also said that a ground floor woman means this housewife. That's what the maidservant said. Let's see what happened. "Yes, true, of course. How can you know, poor thing?" thought the housewife. "The children came home from school for lunch in the afternoon. At least the children might remember my name," the housewife hoped. "Look here, children, do you know my name?" she asked. They were taken aback. "You are Amma. Your name is Amma only. Ever since we were born, we have known only this. The letters that come are only in father's name. Because everyone calls him by his name, we know his name. You never told us your name. You don't even get letters addressed to your name. The children said plainly, in a simple way. The housewife asked the maidservant for her name, but she could not get the name from her. And she said this one, yes, true, of course, how can you know, poor thing? Here, you is the maidservant. Now here, she addressed her as poor thing. So poor thing is used when you talk about, when you show sympathy for somebody. Now here, the maidservant did not know the name, so the housewife showed sympathy for her and she said poor thing. So we use this word poor when you show sympathy for somebody. Now she thought that at least her children would know the name, and then she asked them, but look at this here, they were taken aback. Let's see what it means. Be taken aback. It means be very surprised about something, be very shocked about something. In fact, they were surprised and shocked because they did not expect this question from their mother. And they said that they did not know the name because ever since they were born. Ever since means continuously since the time mentioned. What is the time mentioned here? They were born. So from the time they were born, they have known only this. What is that? Amma. That is her name according to them. That's what they know. They also explained, they gave the reasons as well. The letters that they get are only in father's name, and mother does not get any letter addressed to her name, addressed to her, so they don't know anything about her name. Let's move on. Yes, who will write letters to me? Father and mother are there, but they only make phone calls once in a month or two. Even my sisters are immersed with swabbing their houses. Even if they met me in some marriage or kumkum ceremony, they chatted away their time talking about new mugulu or new dishes to cook, but no letters. The housewife was disappointed and grew more restless. The urge to know her name somehow or the other grew stronger in her. Now a neighbor came to invite her to a kumkum ceremony. The housewife asked her neighbor, hoping she at least would remember her name. Giggling, the lady said, somehow or other I haven't asked your name, nor have you told me. Okay, now she was talking about her sisters and mother and father. Mother and father just make phone calls, but they never write letters. Even sisters would be doing the same thing here. Even when they met in some kumkum ceremony or something, they chatted away their time. But look at this here. Even my sisters are immersed with swabbing their houses. They are immersed with something. Let's look at that meaning here. If a person is immersed with something, he or she is involved in something. Now, what is the thing that the sisters are involved in? They are involved in swabbing their houses. It means cleaning their houses, washing their houses. And even if they met in marriage or a kumkum ceremony, what is the meaning of this kumkum ceremony? It's a social gathering in India in which married women exchange haldi. Haldi means turmeric, and kumkum, vermilion powder, as a symbol of their married status and wishing for their husbands' long lives. So they invite one another and then they have a gathering and they apply this haldi, turmeric, on their feet and vermilion powder on their foreheads. So that is what we call kumkum ceremony. Now even when they met during kumkum ceremony, they just chatted away. Look at the meaning here. Chat away means talk. They just talk and spend their time talking about new mugulu or new dishes to cook, but they do not write letters. The housewife became more restless. Okay, now the urge to know her name somehow or the other grew stronger in her. Somehow she wanted to know her name. What is the meaning of the word urge? Urge means a strong desire to do something. Here, the strong desire is to get her name, to know her name. And a neighbor came to invite this housewife to a kumkum ceremony, and the housewife thought that she would know the name and mentioned the same thing. She asked the neighbor to tell her the name, and she giggled. Look at the meaning of the word giggle. To laugh quickly, quietly, and in a high voice, especially when something is amusing. This is, no, this is true. We can understand. Now, we don't think that somebody can forget their name. That does not happen. But here the woman asked the neighbor her name, so she giggled. She laughed quickly and quietly in a high voice. And she explained this. Somehow or other, I haven't asked your name, nor have you told me. The housewife did not tell her the name, and the neighbor did not ask her the name. Right hand side, white storied house. Ah, there she is. That pharmaceutical company manager's wife. If not that, that fair and tall lady. That's how we refer to you. That's all. That's all that the other housewife could say. It's no use. What can even my children's friends say? They know me only as Kamala's mother or some auntie. Now my respected husband is the only hope. If anyone remembers it, it is only he. During the night meal, she asked him, Look here, I have forgotten my name. If you remember it, will you please tell me? Okay, now these words were spoken by, this first paragraph. These words are spoken by the housewife's neighbor. She continued saying, right hand side, white storied house, or there she is. Now here, all these things refer to the housewife and housewife's house. Right hand side house, white storied house, or there she is. That pharmaceutical company manager's wife. Now, all these things refer to the housewife's address. Pharmaceutical company manager's wife. It means the housewife's husband was a pharmaceutical company manager. What is the meaning of this pharmaceutical company? It's a company that makes and sells medical drugs, medicines. Okay, and if not that, they address this woman as fair lady. Look at that fair lady. Look at that tall lady. That's all that the other housewife could say, but she could not tell the housewife the name. And she decided that there was no use talking to these people or asking these people. And that's why she decided to ask her husband, because she thought that he would be the only one left. Okay, now she asked him at the night meal, but let's see what happened. The respected husband burst out laughing and said, What is it, dear? Never has it happened before. You are talking about your name today. Ever since we were married, I have got used to calling you only as Amoy. You two never told me not to address you that way because you have a name of your own. What's happened now? Everyone calls you Mrs. Murthy, don't they? Not Mrs. Murthy. I want my own name. What shall I do now? She said in anguish. What's there? You choose a new name, some name or other, the husband advised. Now, when the housewife asked her husband for her name, he burst out laughing. Look at the meaning here. Burst out laughing, this is a phrasal verb which means to suddenly start to laugh. It means that he started laughing suddenly, and he asked her why she was asking or she was talking about her name that day. And he also told her that he got used to calling her only as Amoy, and that was why he did not remember her name. But anyway, he told her this thing. Everyone calls you Mrs. Murthy, don't they? That is enough. According to that man, Mrs. Murthy is her name, and that is enough. But she is not satisfied at all. She said she wanted her own name, but not Mrs. Murthy. And she said that in anguish. Look at the meaning here. Mental suffering. She was suffering mentally because she forgot her name. And the husband gave her a piece of advice too. He asked her to choose a new name, some name or the other. Let's see what happened. Very nice. Your name is Satyanarayana Murthy. Will you keep quiet if I ask you to change your name to Sivarao or Sundarrao? I want my name only, she said. It's all right. You are an educated woman. Your name must be on the certificates. Don't you have that much common sense? Go and find out, he advised her. The housewife searched frantically for her certificates in the almirah. Pattu saris, chiffon saris, handloom saris, voile saris, matching blouses, petticoats, bangles, beads, pearls, pins, kumkumbarinas, silver plates, silver containers to keep sandalwood paste, ornaments, all things arranged in an orderly fashion. Nowhere could she find her certificates. Okay, now he advised his wife to check her name in the certificates because she was an educated woman. And immediately the housewife started searching for her certificates frantically. Look at the meaning here. Done in a hurried way and in a state of excitement and in confusion as well. Now she started searching for the certificates in the almirah. Now what were there in the almirah? These are the things. Pattu saris, we know that. Chiffon saris. Chiffon saris are lightweight saris made of silk or nylon. Here T is missing. I'm sorry about that. Lightweight saris made of silk or nylon. And voile saris. Voile saris are saris made of 100% cotton or cotton mixed with linen or polyester. It's not linen, it's linen or polyester. Okay, we have handloom as well. Let's look at handloom. This is a handloom machine, handloom tool. So handloom saris are saris made by hand using a loom. This particular setup is called loom. Okay, now let's look at beads. These are beads and these are pearls. Pearls, pearls. And kumkumbarinas, we know them, and sandalwood paste, you know them. Look at the last line here. Nowhere could she find her certificates. It means she could not find her certificates anywhere. Let's look at the next part. Yes, I haven't brought them here. I shall go to my place, search for my certificates and inquire about my name, and return in a couple of days. She asked for her husband's permission. Very nice. Must you go just for your name or what? If you go, who will scrub the house these 2 days? Said her lord. Yes, that was true. Because she scrubbed better than the others, she had not allowed anyone else to do the job all these days. Everyone was busy with their own respective duties. He had his office. Poor things. The children had their studies to take care of. Why should they bother about this chore? And she had been doing it all along. They just didn't know how to do it, of course. Okay, now she realized that she had not brought the certificates here after marriage. And she decided to go back to her house and she wanted to find the certificates. And she decided to go there and then return in a couple of days and wanted to have her husband's permission. And when she mentioned this to her husband, he said, must you go just for your name or what? Do you want to go there for just your name? And he also asked who would scrub the house these 2 days. Here, Lord is none other than the housewife's husband. Now, why did he ask? He asked so because she scrubbed better than the other people in the house. And she had never allowed anyone to do the job. I mean, scrubbing or washing the floor, cleaning the floor. And she also justified saying this. Everyone was busy with their own respective duties. I mean, their own duties. He had his office, husband, and poor things. She was showing sympathy for the children. They had school, their studies to take care of. Why should they bother about this chore? So bother about means be worried about. Why should they be worried about this chore? Chore is a task that you do regularly. Now here that chore is specifically scrubbing the floor. So why should they be worried about scrubbing the floor? Well, that is the end of the first part. We'll discuss the rest of the lesson in the second part. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel if you have not done that already. Thank you very much for watching.